In this segment, let's try a simple task. That is, let's ask for a response, and what we want to know is whether it's yes or no. Now, we already know how to do that, but this time we will accept upper, lower case yes or no, and we'll even accept it if it's just a simple y or a simple n. Now, to start with, let's investigate or refresh our memory on how we can actually change a string when a string is actually immutable. That is, it can't be changed. So how do we finesse that? Well, let's take a look. First of all, let's take a variable response, and let's make it equal yes with a mixture of upper and lowercase letters. Now, if we say response.lower, that is, we use the method lower on response, we see that it returns a lowercase yes. However, the original response still has a mixture of upper and lowercase. So what we can do is we can say, let's let response, which will actually be a new string, the entire string, equal whatever is returned by response.lower. So on the right-hand side, we see the call to the method lower, and that returns the lowercase yes, and then that assigns that to the variable response. So response used to have capital YES. Now we're giving it an entirely new value, and it is now lowercase. So this is how we can go and take even though strings are immutable, notice we didn't change response, we didn't change the capital Y to a lowercase y. What we did was created an entirely new string, which is all made up of all lowercase letters, and assigned that to response. So it looked as if all we did was change the first character from uppercase to lowercase, but in fact we changed the whole thing. So we've done an assignment of a totally new value as opposed to changing the letter, the first letter. So let's get to that question of writing a little piece of code that will allow us to ask a question. So response equals raw input, enter yes or no, and what we are going to do, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take response, make it lowercase, and then assign that to response. So we're going to create a new string and assign response to be that new string, which is all lowercase. This is a common way to do things. I'd like to be able to check. All I want is yes. I don't care whether it's got uppercase or lowercase or whatever. So let's just change everything to lowercase. Now all I need to do is check if response equals lowercase yes, because if it was uppercase yes, we've already changed it to lowercase. And at the same time, maybe somebody just enters the letter Y. Oops, I forgot my equal signs, equals Y. And if they do, we'll print something simple like you entered yes. Now, we can also check if the response was no. Again, we only have to check lowercase because uppercase will have been changed to lowercase. And maybe somebody was lazy and they just gave us an N. And so we can say print you entered no. Otherwise, else print you entered either yes or no. And let's give this a try. Oops, we have to save it. There we go. Now we enter yes or no. Well, certainly if we enter a lowercase yes, we would expect them to say, yes, you entered a lowercase yes. And maybe I should, let me shorten this up a little bit so we can actually see the code right next to the shell. There we go. So let's take something that's a silly mixture of upper and lower case. So the first thing that gets done in the code is we change it to all lowercase and reassign that to response. And now it checks it, and in fact finds that it is, and we have entered a yes. How about entering the letter Y? Well, we also check that. We change that to lowercase. We check that, and that seems to work. What about no? Actually, let's even do that in a silly way. No in that way. And it says, yep, you entered no. Again, it changed everything to lowercase and then checked. We should probably check to make sure Knox. It says, oh, we entered neither yes or no. So, quick review here. We looked at two things. First of all, we looked and saw that we could actually change our response from uppercase to lowercase using the method lower, and then make response that new value. Remember, we didn't change individual characters. We created a new string and assigned that totally new string to our variable. Now that we have lowercase letters, we only have to check for lowercase yes, not any other combination of uppercase and lowercase. So that's made our job easier. And the same thing with no. And just to make it catch those lazy people who might enter just a Y or an N, we threw that in there too. And again, that's also helped by the yes, by the fact that we've changed everything to lowercase. That'll do it.